all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning. This is the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 5th of November. If you're planning on going on a long drive this weekend, there's good news. Petrol prices have been cut by over 4 rupees a litre and diesel by 2.33 rupees in the last 18 days as international crude oil prices fell. The price of petrol was cut by 21 paise a litre on Sunday and diesel by 17 paise according to a notification issued by state-owned fuel retailers. In Mumbai, petrol now costs 82.28 rupees and diesel 76.88 rupees a litre. The Finance Ministry is likely to finalize another round of capital infusion for public sector banks towards the end of this month or early next month, taking into account the latest quarterly performance of these banks. State Bank of India has put up 11 non-performing assets for sale to asset reconstruction companies and financial companies to recover dues of nearly 1,019 crore rupees. The country's largest lender said that the e-auction of these bad loans would take place on the 22nd of November. The Reserve Bank of India has initiated steps to set up a digital public credit registry to capture details of all borrowers, including willful defaulters and also any pending legal suits in order to check for financial delinquencies. The Central Information Commission has issued a show-cause notice to Reserve Bank of India Governor Urjit Patel. The allegation is that Patel dishonoured a Supreme Court judgment on disclosure of willful defaulters who have taken loans of more than 50 crore rupees. In other news, in order to prevent incorrect allocation of goods and services tax revenue among states, the Directorate General of Audit has been asked to scrutinize the accounting software of large service providers like banks and telecom companies. In international news, the Federal Reserve meeting is the main event on the economic calendar this week, but economists don't expect any surprises. They'll be watching on Thursday for any signs that market volatility is giving officials pause as they approach a probable hike next month. Haruhiko Kuroda speaks on Monday after the Bank of Japan releases minutes from October, and Chinese trade numbers will provide a field test on the effects of US tariffs. In other international news, Chinese President Xi Jinping will deliver the key address today at the opening of the China International Import Expo in Shanghai. This after US President Donald Trump floated the possibility of a trade deal. Trump hinted at the possibility of a deal with China at a planned meeting between the two world leaders at the Group of 20 summit in Argentina at the end of the month. He said that the US would make a deal with China and that it would be a fair deal, a very fair deal for everybody. He also said that the two sides were getting much closer to doing something. There was also a positive surprise in the form of US jobs data on Friday. Non-farm payrolls rose 250,000 in October from the previous month, the Labour Department said. The consensus estimates had pegged this number at 200,000. Here's a quick check on the international markets now. Asian markets are trading lower this morning. All three early risers are weak, with the Nikkei in Japan losing about 1.3%. This after US stocks ended last week muted. The Dow and S&P 500 ended lower by 0.4 and 0.6% respectively, and the Nasdaq declined by 1%. It's now over to Agam Vakil for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Agam. How's it looking for India this morning?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. Well, India's benchmark indices advanced over 5% last week, with the Nifty closing about 10,550. The SGX Nifty, however, at this point in time is indicating a quiet opening this Monday. But on to earnings then. Let's start off with Axis Bank, where we saw its net interest income rise 15% on a year-on-year basis, with net profit rising 83%, and both these numbers were ahead of the Bloomberg consensus. But moving on to ONGC, these earnings were largely in line with expectations, seeing revenues rise 3% and net profits rise 35% year-on-year. In terms of earnings today, we will be watching out for GAIL, Cipla, Power Grid Corporation and State Bank of India, among the many other important ones. On to the news then. From the pharma space, we have Laurus Labs, where the US FDA has completed inspections of its Unit 6 API intermediate facility in Andhra Pradesh with one observation. On the same lines, we also have Strides Pharma Science, where the US FDA has completed inspection at its Bangalore facility with zero Form 483 observations. Oriental Carbon and Chemicals will also be in the spotlight as the company seeks to buy back 2.96% of its paid-up equity capital for 1,150 rupees per share for 35 crore rupees. Now, these are just some of the important things to watch out for today, but there are even more stocks that will be in focus today, and you can read all about that in our daily copy. All you need to know on our website, www.bloombergquint.com.
Thank you, Agam, and thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.